Good morning, Casey. Oops, you're muted. Oh, you're still muted. Let's see, I might be able to help you. There we go. Good morning, everyone.
Morning, Dara.
How are you doing? You doing good, Casey?
Yes, we're doing okay.
Yay. Good morning, Dara. You're muted too.
Sorry.
Did you make the top you're wearing today as well?
Yes.
Oh, gorgeous.
Thank you.
Is that the same knit that you told us about last time with the vibrant
Yep.
color?
This is an ITY that has a little bit of a raised, I don't know what they call it. Almost feels like tiny little bit of puff paint. Remember puff paint from
Oh,
about 20 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, how fun. Very neat. Let's see who else. We had a few new people sign up for this, so we'll give them a couple minutes. I've made good progress on my project, and I think you have too, Dara, because I saw a little swoop of it go by.
I put my zipper in this morning.
Oh, good. I can't wait to get details about that, because that is the next part I'm concerned about.
Yeah, I was concerned about it too, but I thought now or never, just keep moving.
Oh, awesome. All right. Good morning, Marilyn. I hope you can hear us and see us.
she's muted.
Somebody has a kitty.
Yeah, I may have to mute myself. She wants to be outside, but we can't let her out unless we're with her, and Dave's gone off to do something, so she's mad.
Oh, will she listen to you when she's outside and not go too far?
No.
Oh.
If she, sometimes I have some treats that will engage her, but last time she got out of her harness, I went around, shaking the treats, trying to find her, and I finally found her, and she looked at me and said, yeah, no, this is much more fun than those treats, and kept walking.
Freedom.
Yeah, so she doesn't go out unsupervised anymore. So.
Oh, darn. Well, soon she'll have her house and more space that she can roam around. Yeah. How old is she?
She's 13.
Oh, wow. Oh.
But she's
getting up there.
Now going to console herself with a look out the window up in the loft.
That's nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess we'll get started, and hopefully, I hope Suzette doesn't miss out, because I know she's made good progress too. You want to show us what you did, Dara?
Oh, I just jumped ahead. I don't know how many of the next steps. I did all the steps up to the zipper.
Gorgeous.
So you have to do the pockets. Having sewn many garments in many different patterns, this is not probably the perfect way that they've told you to do the pockets. Okay. But for a beginner sewer, it works. You often find on patterns that you're going to offset that seam a little bit so that it doesn't show. And as I was doing it, I thought I should do that. And then I thought, I'll just do it the way the instructions say. But I am going to go back and put some fusible in here, because it doesn't, without any top stitching, there's nothing to keep this nice. And I really hate to press things every time I sew. So, I mean, every time I wash them. So right. I'm going to use some of that Sew Keezy, I think it's called. Yeah. I don't know if anybody else has used that before. It's like a two-sided fusible, and it's just a little narrow strip of tape. And I'm going to put it in there and fuse it just so it stays nice, because the way they've told you to do this, it's not going to necessarily stay. You're going to have to press it every time you wash it if you want it to be nice and crisp.
Okay.
That's a good tip. I hadn't thought of that.
I was a little bit concerned when they talked about how you have to come back in to close up any gap between the seam and the pocket. Did you have any issues with that?
Well, that's one place where I didn't follow their directions.
Okay.
I sewed I put everything together. So now I've got my pocket flaps on the front and the back piece, and then I laid them together, and I started right at the seam and sewed the pocket, and then I sewed the side seam.
Mhm.
Because that pivot way of doing things, you don't get nice crisp. It's really hard. You have to be really lucky to get it really crisp there.
Okay. Okay.
And then,
So
of
we
course-
we could get creative with the pockets then if that way doesn't work for us
Yeah.
and to make them look good.
And I'm not happy with my back. Even though I very carefully followed all of Kenneth King's directions, and when I basted my back seam, matched perfectly, then I hand basted on my zipper, then I sewed my zipper, mismatch. Like it's off about, I don't know, a 32nd of an inch, but
That's not off in my book. 32nd of an inch, you're good.
there's going to be a belt over this, so I'm thinking I'm going to wear the belt right at the waist, and I won't have to worry about it. That's my plan anyway. Well, I used to work at a production facility, and we always used to say perfection was attempted.
I absolutely love that. Oh my
It was
God.
not achieved. So, and I haven't gone back. I just put the zipper in this morning, so I still have to go back and put the facings down. And I don't like how much zipper tape is here and how lumpy it is compared to my lightweight fabric. But I often run into trouble where I trim them too much, and then I feel like that little edge is trying to sneak out over time as it gets washed.
So when I looked at mine, I thought the same thing. That will drive me insane feeling that. So I thought I would bump mine down and just do a little tiny clasp or little tiny button, because I don't know if I can handle that rubbing on my neck.
Well, I've got mine, I did mine like perfectly flush with the top. I don't know if I get it closer. I don't know if you can see that. I can't see it, but perfectly flush with the top. I'm not really thrilled with it, but this is a summer dress I'm going to wear to Walmart. This is not, an heirloom garment, so
Can you
I
show
think it'll
me?
be fine.
Can you show me the where the zip? Lift up the facing. Show me how you did that on the top.
So on the, I don't know, let me get closer. I'm sorry, my vision's not very good. I just had my cataracts done and I don't have good glasses. So there we are on the inside. And this top of the zipper tape is just loose. You don't want to continue that up onto the facing because then you won't be able to fold it down. So then the facing the top of the zipper tape just has to kind of get shoved out of the way. And then you come back down and stitch that down.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so the top
This will
of
be
the
done by
zipper
hand.
doesn't.
No, the top of the zipper is completely hidden up under there. And you can trim some of it away, but I have in the past trimmed too much away. And then no matter how neatly you hand tack, you wind up with it trying to sneak out and looking unprofessional. So I'm going to leave a little bit more of it. And I think I'm going to come in here as much as I can. I've already trimmed away a lot of this seam allowance, but see if I can't grade it a little bit more to get any thickness out of there.
Does the pattern suggest, what do they call it? Edge stitching along the facing to keep all the layers to that side?
I don't recall it. It's missing some stuff that we often find on other patterns.
Because that I
those kinds
find
of details.
Yeah, sometimes I find that holds things in the right direction, and then you don't have to, things don't sneak out.
Yeah, I'm going to actually top stitch this when it's all done.
Okay, yeah.
So, but I'm not top stitching right at the edge. I'm top stitching in about 3/8 of an inch. So I am going to make sure I have it good and rolled under before I top stitch.
Yeah.
What color thread will you use for the top stitching?
I'm using contrast like you would on, let's see if I can get that up to the camera.
Like
Like
on
you would on
jeans?
denim. Yeah, like on jeans, because this is a lightweight denim look to it. So I'm just going to continue with that.
Really nice. Beautiful job, Tara.
Thank you.
Beautiful job. Wow. Okay. So Suzette, you missed some of that beginning, but I think it'll be super helpful for you if you catch the recording where she talked about. Do you want to go next and show them what you've done?
Me?
Yeah.
I haven't done anything except in
Well,
my,
They haven't seen anything. I just got a sneak peek. I don't think they've seen your progress since last week. Well, maybe they have if they were on show and tell.
I haven't done much other than cut the skirt and pin the pockets. I haven't sewn anything together yet.
Okay. Were you waiting to see?
Yes. Actually, I was catching up on little odd and end things before. I don't know. If I have all these little things hanging around, I have to get those done first.
Do you?
Yeah.
All right. So thank you for the zipper.
You're
Suzette
welcome.
sent me 16 zippers, and it was really hard to choose, but this is an absolute positive perfect match.
Yeah, that's very good.
So I can't not go with that. And here's what it looks like with the facing and the sides done. And then I won't be able to try it on today because this shirt will be ridiculous, but I did try it on last night and then try and pull it all together, and I still have plenty of room to breathe and the arms feel great. I think with this fabric though, I will have to iron it every single time. Is lawn just like that?
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's pretty, it's fun, but it does require ironing and it feels great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does feel really nice. And rather than do the serger, because I felt like this was just so delicate, I did the zigzag stitch. I can still come back with the serger if I want, but I am worried about the weight of all that thread on there with the lawn. I think it'll work really good with the linen, but do you think that will hold up for me? I could even hand wash this if I have to.
I think it looks good.
It does.
It'd be fun.
Usually with lawn, I machine wash it on gentle and then I hang it to dry.
Mm.
And then when it's dry, I throw it in the dryer on air fluff. And sometimes, depending on the style, you can get away without pressing if it's not something that's meant to be super crisp.
Yeah. I feel like it's going to be the darts that are the problem, because even last night when I was ironing it, I was like, I can't have an extra wrinkle in between there. That'll defeat the purpose. So anyways, and I've cut out all the rest of the pieces, including the cute little ties for the top. Are you going to do the ties too, Suzette, just so you have them? No?
No.
All right, so the next step then is the skirt and the pockets. And that's what Dara was talking about. She didn't care for their pocket method. So any other suggestions, Casey or Kim, for the pockets? You don't like how the seam shows, right, Dara? And how floppy it is?
It's just not, it's not finished as well as it could be. But I think that's a factor of it's kind of an advanced beginner pattern. If you were to buy like a Vogue couture pattern and they had a pocket like that, they would direct you a little bit differently so that you had more of a nice finish, so it would always lay flatter.
How would you get it to lay flatter? What would they do that would be different? Is it strictly sewing, or would you use some type of interfacing?
Both. Sometimes there's a little bit of an extension on the skirt piece. It'll extend just slightly longer, like maybe 3/8 of an inch. So all that does is it when you turn it, your seam is completely out of view. You can do the same thing by adjusting your seam allowance where you put the pocket on. So sew it on at 3/8, and then when you sew your side seam, you're not going to come to the right place at the right time, but there's a way around it. I'm not very good at explaining it, but you'll see if you do it that way, you'll see that then those lines are completely out of view. Another thing that you often see is to add a very thin strip of interfacing right on the front, so you get a nice crisp edge on the front. You don't do it on the back side piece, but on the front side piece, so that you can have a nice crisp edge there.
The other thing that does is it keeps that, because the skirt is a little bit of an angle, it keeps that skirt seam from stretching at all. So that's, you know, one thing I try and do is to put a little interfacing on that side, so that I don't get, my pockets don't kind of bag, you know, stretch out.
Yeah, yeah. So
It also helps with any stress that you'll get at that point where it's all sewn together. And since I'm using, you know, a denim look, I actually put at the top and the bottom, and you see that I did a little bar tack.
Okay, that's
Which
nice.
will, so you wouldn't want to do that on the lawn probably. It might be, the stitching might even be too much for your fabric. But for my needs, this is, again, my Walmart dress. It'll be perfectly fine. Going over and picking up some groceries later today.
You're
But
gonna
will
be
you
the
have it
best
in time?
dress. Yeah. Oh, fun. Any other tips, Casey or Kim, on the pockets or the zipper, which seem to be problematic?
Well, I think one of the things is that you develop techniques as you become more practiced with it. So on your first dress, there's things I would do that I don't know that I would suggest for you guys, because like with the top of the zipper, I actually flip the facing over and I stitch it almost like it was, so it's inside out, stitch it to the zipper and then pull it back around. But that's like an advanced technique that I've learned over the years, and I wouldn't suggest it for a beginner. So I think what Dara has suggested is perfect for this dress, for, you know, your sewing comfort. I think you'll get a nice finish with it. And especially with yours being lawn, I don't know that technique would work, because it would be too stressful for the material. But for a cotton or a linen, you know, or even the lightweight denim that she's got, that would kind of work. And I often will go and I know, Suzette, you probably don't do a lot of sewing with clothing, so you don't have a pool of pocket patterns to pick from in your stash. But that's what I often do, is I'll look at the directions on something and say, that's not how I do pockets. And I go back and I find the way I like to do pockets, and then I refresh myself on that. And I'll even, you know, cut it either with that extension, or just, I usually end up, because I forget to put the extension on if it's a different pattern, I end up doing that technique where I just sew it as 3/8 of an inch and then treat it as if it were, you know, one big piece of fabric. Just stitch down in the seam. That's when you have to remember, it's just stitch in the seam and then around the pocket. But Dara, that's a good idea. I hadn't thought about doing the pocket first and then do the seams, which makes it a little bit easier on you. That might be a good idea for you guys to try, because that turning that corner might be something you're like a little anxious about.
I don't know that this lawn is sturdy enough to put anything in the pockets. I'm now second guessing the pockets for them.
Just to hang your hands in if you get it. That's about it. No cell phones.
Oh, no.
Something that I saw in a YouTube video about a girl who does all this Victorian sewing, Edwardian sewing, is a pocket stay. And so it wouldn't work for your lawn, and it might work for some of it. But the idea of making sure that pocket is attached at the waist, so when you do put something in, it hangs correctly. And that's, I think that would be something I might do in the, you know, a hack I would do on a pattern in the future, is instead of doing this little ear pocket, is to actually have, if I have a waist seam, to actually make sure it attaches at the waist, so that I could put something in it and not have the whole dress hang funny.
And there's no way to attach these pockets to this waist?
Well, she's done some things with a tape that she attached to the side of the pocket and then attached it to the waist, but I don't know if it would be worth the effort.
I doubt that it would be. The easier thing to do, if you hadn't already cut everything, would be to redraft that pocket so that it goes straight up into the waist seam. Be a much bigger pocket. You wouldn't be using all of the top.
Yeah.
That's something I do a lot of adjustments on patterns. I redraft things all the time, and that's one of the things that I do as well, just because it's never then floppy. It's always caught in the seam, and it makes it easier to wash, it makes it easier to wear, it makes it easier to press.
Yeah.
It keeps your pockets from ending up on your backside.
Yeah, I do feel like I could get myself just a little pocket, like literally big enough for lip gloss or something teeny tiny right straight down in that. I'm not loving these side pockets for this. Are you, Suzette?
No.
And I don't want to ruin it by putting them in and then not liking them.
Well, it's going to be perfect for your face mask now, because
Yeah.
that's not heavy.
That'll be on my face.
Right.
Well, all right, but you know, when you put it in your pocket because you're going back out later in the day or whatever your situation is.
Well, we could omit the pockets and it would be just continue on,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, you could
Yeah.
do without the pockets completely.
Yeah, I just don't want anything bunching on the front of this. If everything else is going to be fitted, then I'll have these bunchy pockets.
Oh, they'll lay pretty flat,
Yeah.
especially in the lawn, because there's not much volume to the fabric.
Yeah.
They should lay flat and be fine for you.
Well, if you can't put anything in them, what's the point?
That's true. True.
The place to hang my hands for a moment. That's about it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I cut them out and I pinned them. I know how they go in.
Mhm.
That's the part I wanted to learn. So I don't really have to sew them in there, right?
No?
No,
No,
you
you
don't
can
have
just-
to.
That's the point of sewing for yourself, is you make it the way you want.
But I think you need the pockets for when you do your Instagram photo shoot, so you can put them in your pockets and twirl and do all that.
I'm not on
Fashion stuff.
Instagram, thank God.
You're not. That's right. She escaped Instagram. Just Facebook for you, Suzette?
The only reason I'm on Facebook is for your sewing group.
Aw. That's the only reason I'm on Facebook too.
I had to learn how to do Facebook in order to get on there. Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Wow, that's so amazing. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it's not my favorite place to be either.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm leaning towards no pockets. How about you, Suzette?
Me
No
too.
pockets?
Woo.
Not because I'm afraid to sew the pockets, but I don't want there to be any, I want to reduce the amount of points that I'm dissatisfied with it.
Mhm.
So that when I put it on, I don't have to move through that whole, perfection was attempted. But that would be a cute label to sew into stuff. To
So
remind yourself.
You're not going to put your zipper all the way up?
Well, now that I see
I
it
feel like
goes
you're
under,
covered.
now that I see it goes under the facing, I think that I'm okay with that. I was afraid that just sticks up off the top.
Oh, no.
And that would be so much worse than any tag I've ever cut out. Right? Can
The
you
real
imagine?
reason some of us sew is because we don't want tags in our clothing.
Oh, right. So that's going to sit flat. And then there just might be, because of the weight of this is so much heavier than the lawn, you're thinking there's going to be a little like kind of kick out, just a smidgen on the neck. No.
No, it should be fine. You just need to kind of, on a lot of zippers, if you can kind of make like a 45-degree angle and bring it over and down a little bit so that it's not laying against the seam line. So it's just kind of out of the way.
Okay. Okay. And mine is a little longer. So what do you suggest?
That's perfect. Longer is always better on an invisible zipper. If you look at the Kenneth King instructions, as long as it is more than 2 or 3 inches longer than you want, his instructions work, and you make a little thread stop at the bottom and trim off the extra when you get to the end of it. So
yeah,
longer is better on invisible zippers.
Oh, nice. Okay, awesome. Any questions, Suzette? For the experts?
No, but I'll have
Thank
a,
you again, ladies.
as
We
soon
wouldn't
as
have
we
been able to
hang
do it.
up, as soon as we're off of this, I'll have a bunch of questions.
You'll have a what?
I always
bunch
seem
of
to think of my
questions?
questions after the fact.
Yeah, my biggest worry is this zipper. Because if taping and basting and all of the tricks didn't even work for Dara, how am I going
And
to make it work?
remember, it was a 32nd of an inch off.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's really small.
yeah. And
Your ruler doesn't measure 30 seconds. It only goes to 16ths if it's
Do you
back.
think you can hold it really close to the camera so I can see what part you're dissatisfied with?
it's right at the back where the, let me see,
The waistband and the,
waistband meets. See, I don't go exactly
Oh,
straight
yeah, that won't
across.
bother
so
me.
that's
I
like,
see. Okay.
And if it didn't have a belt, I would have to redo that. But since it has a belt, I feel like I'm the only one, you all, and I'm the only one who are going to know that that didn't meet. And another thing, sewing with a solid color really ups the degree of difficulty as far as imperfections. With your print, no one will ever see it. You won't even really
Right.
see it. So, yeah.
Okay.
I'm
I can live
rethinking
with
my
that.
choice of fabric with invisible zip right. I should have picked a print. I'd be much happier with it.
What other options could you use for a zipper with this if you wanted to use a solid? Or could you do, sometimes you know how you see more of the zipper in the dress. Is that an option?
You could do an exposed zipper on this if you wanted to. Of course, I don't know. I'm not real happy with the selections of zippers that I can find in that length for an exposed zipper. Usually it's something a little more chunky and decorative, and then you need heavier fabric or it's a mismatch.
another thing that I have done, and you can try this, is, or not, it's fine. I will put the zipper in the side seam because
Oh,
what
then
you
you
need
can't
is you need
see it.
the room on the side of your body. You need room around your waist to get it up and over. You don't have to have it because your neck is wide enough to get over your head.
Yeah. Oh, wouldn't that be nice for this dress, Suzette?
So, but if some people don't like side zippers because they feel them more. So it's a trade-off.
And depending on how you're built, I have really broad rib cage and shoulders. A side zipper like that doesn't work for me. I still can't get my arms in the armholes without putting too much stress on the fabric.
Okay.
So I don't know. It's an interesting idea. I stay away from back zips as much as possible. I do a lot of exposed zippers down the center front.
Oh, that's fun.
I do a lot of kind of like looser dresses that no zipper required.
Do you all remember the Jessica McClintock dresses?
I know the designer, I don't remember.
70s, 80s, gorgeous. You can still buy them on eBay. But like they would have had the little buttons for, I know that would be a total pain in the butt to get in and out of,
God.
but
Oh yeah.
would that work too for this pattern?
You'd have to make an extension for the buttons. So you have to add more fabric on both on the center back to be able to fold it over and have the buttons. So you have to make a button extension, but it is doable. But then, can you get your arms back up there to button yourself?
A two-person outfit.
And COVID season, do you mind?
So that's
How about
okay.
if we slip it over our head, we wouldn't have to have a zipper. We could just close that back seam up.
You're
Yeah, I don't think I could get in this one like that.
Not a fitted bodice. That wouldn't work.
I would have a hard time.
Although in the instructions for this dress, it did I don't know if I read it in the instructions or if I read it on the Instagram. You can also make this in a knit, and then in that case you would have no zipper. You would just sew that back center seam up. But
And it would stretch enough, huh?
if you were going to make it out of a knit, you'd probably want like 10% stretch at least, I would think.
I would say
Then
30.
Yeah.
you'd have to go, I mean, you could maybe do the same size at 10%, but if you had more stretch, you'd basically go down to 0 ease is how you go down a size at least,
Mhm.
or it's too big.
Oh, that's fun. That's a fun idea too. And did you see, Dora, how they had a top made out of the same pattern and you just did the little extension on it? So it
Mhm.
might be fun to do the top from the knit.
You know, what'd be fun is to do this with a little peplum.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. So then would you keep the V-neck or would you do a little rounded?
Well, I'm not a big V-neck person, so I would have probably, scooped it. But you could do a V and a peplum still together, I think.
That would be really pretty. Mhm. And would you bring it all the way down to here and do the little, like that? Oh, you can't see very good on this, but
Yeah.
would you come so it kind of met in the middle there?
So if I were redrawing that neckline where your fingers are right now, I would have come up and taken that V out and just made it a curve.
Okay.
So more of a
and-
round neck.
Yeah. for a
Yeah,
more
and
scoop round neck.
on me, I do not feel like this is too deep of a V. I know what you're talking about. Some Vs are just awkward and you're always adjusting, but this one is really comfortable spot for me. Did you feel the same, Suzette? It's not too low. So I think it could be cute with that as well. Fun. Lots and lots of options. Okay, so do we want to try and go all the way and have it done by next Tuesday? And then we can start the cape. Have you decided, Dara, if you're going to try one of it's similar but not the same. So you don't have to have a cape.
Do a jacket. Do a jacket if
Yeah.
you want.
I actually have, I just bought some fabric for a jacket that I'm gonna start working on. So, I'd be happy to share that with you. It's way more complicated than a cape, but
Okay.
Go for it.
it is laying on my sewing table waiting to be sewn.
Okay, awesome. So if you're comfortable trying to finish, Suzette, I am. I have all the parts cut out. I'm skipping the pockets though. But I'm going to do the ties on the shoulder.
Okay, crafty ladies, why don't you guys do like a little pouch or something, since you want to hold your phones and stuff with that fabric.
I have a little bit left. I could do that. And I'm definitely doing the mask because there is no mask in my collection that's matching this fabric. I am not going to ruin the look.
You could do a little pouch in the belt.
Oh, yeah. Something, just something little. I'll think about the design that I would like with this. I don't know if I have enough for a teeny tiny little shoulder purse. Maybe something to tuck inside. I feel like this is the dress. It's just going to be me, the dress, and the mask. And that's it.
So Dara, how did you do the belt?
How did I do the belt?
Yeah, I was reading the instructions and it's like,
I ignored the instructions. I did the belt the way you do straps on most bags.
Oh, nice.
I pressed it in half,
Oh.
wrong sides together, and then I turned up the seam allowance, and I did the same thing on the ends. The style where you make the whole thing and turn it, never get a good result on those. Gave up on that years ago. So if I were going to do this again, I would decide what I wanted the finished width to be and then make it 4 times that, so it could be 4 complete layers, just like on a nice bag, the way If the
Get the weight.
strap is 4 layers, everything feels better and is sturdier. This, I mean, you can feel the seam allowance on one side and then there's no seam allowance on the other side. It's, the fabric I used didn't need any interfacing, but if you want this to be crisp, you might want to put some interfacing in your belt.
And if you do that, then doing the strap method would be much better, because if you're going to put interfacing in it, turning it is not
Yeah.
going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like turning them either. I think I'm going with the strap method for the belt.
Mhm.
I do need a mask pattern that will look cute with this, and it's definitely not the surgical mask look.
What about the deaconess? The deaconess mask?
Is that what it's called?
The deaconess is just the plain rectangle that you pleat
Yes.
and do your ear loops.
Mhm.
I did one. I'm gonna have to look and see whose directions these are. I found it online. It's meant to have a filter pocket, but I skipped that because I can
Yeah.
barely breathe through 2 layers of cotton. I don't know who can breathe with the filter in there. And this one has a little nice soft nose
Oh,
piece that doesn't
fun.
have any seams.
Yeah.
It's a little ellipse that you fold and then it goes between the layers because it starts to really rub on your nose if you're wearing it for any length of time. And it's real hot and sweaty here in North Carolina to be wearing this outside at all.
Okay.
But
All
I can
right,
look and
so
see what, can't remember. I have it upstairs on my sewing table.
okay,
It's a good
thank you
pattern.
so much. Yeah. So I'll make a mask, a belt, no pockets. And then I'll try and be done by Tuesday, and I'll wear it if it's done. Will you wear yours, Suzette?
Okay.
Okay.
You can wear a mask out of, make a mask out of your pockets.
Yeah.
If you've already cut them, it's probably plenty of fabric.
Well, I did want to tell you a darn good thing. I got 4 yards. There was not that much left. I'm going to show you how much is left. There wasn't that much. Yeah.
Oh, because the Liberty prints are narrower, I think.
Yeah.
Mm, yeah.
Well, and
Yeah,
the pattern was designed
and-
for wider width.
And size 14 is the absolute biggest size you could get with a 44-inch fabric, because it was right there. And then what I had to do for the front of the skirt, whichever part was a little wider, I did have to open up the fabric. And so I used almost all of the 4 yards. Here is what's left. This is 2-ply.
Oh.
Okay, so I figured that's big enough for a mask.
Yep.
Of whatever kind I wanted. And that, and about the same size there. That's all that's left from 4 yards.
Did you do
Wow.
your belt already?
Yeah, I have the belt cut out, the shoulders. I do have the pockets cut out, and then all the parts of the skirt. So I have enough for sure for a mask or 2. I probably should make 2, because what if you lose one? You're not gonna, right?
You shouldn't
Yeah.
look. It's on your face.
Or in your pocket. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
No, it's not in
No.
your pocket.
Oh, God, yeah. Who was it that dropped their mask? Who told us that they dropped their mask when they were in the bathroom?
Oh.
Yeah, and
Oh, that's
so
gone
then-
forever.
right? So if, like, let's just say something weird happened and it ended up in the toilet, right? You're
Oh.
not taking the mask off.
How do you get out of the building?
Just pull your shirt up over your
They
face.
said they put a paper towel over their face to leave the bathroom.
Yeah, who was that? Who was that said that?
I think it was in the planner meeting. I think that's where it was. So I'll make 2 masks in case anything ever happens to the first mask. I'll still be covered. I probably won't carry 2 with me, but I'll still have an outfit at the end of this. And And then I'll see if there's room for anything else. Maybe a little teeny tiny clutch of some sort, but it has to be kind of fancy though for this dress. Can't be too plain. A wristlet, maybe? I don't know. I might call it my freedom dress. And I don't take the phone.
If you have long hair, you could do like a hair scrunchie.
Oh, that would be fun too. I finally have a hair appointment today. So maybe next time you see me, I won't have long hair. I haven't decided. But a hair scrunchie would be cute too. Oh, and I forgot to share the pictures. Casey's necklace. The beaded necklace is absolutely gorgeous. And let me see if y'all can see it on this. You actually would really like this, I think, Suzette. I will put this in the post too, so you can see it a little better. I can't believe I forgot about that. Okay, so there's a couple different styles. Oh, I might not be able to make the picture bigger. Okay, you all tell me if you can see that.
Oh,
Yeah.
So it's a tube, and you drop the beads into the tube, and then in this top one, you use thread to create the separators. But you can also use, you know, the little pony beads, right?
Yep.
So you would drop the big bead in the tube, and then slide a pony bead on as the separator, and then a big bead
Ah.
in the tube. But you could have a matching necklace if
So
you
you
wanted.
sew a tube with just regular, with a regular sewing machine stitch and a tiny seam allowance?
Yeah.
I think
This would be
This
the
one-
one place where you would want a tube turner because it has to be large enough for we used marbles or beads, whatever size you want it to be. And then I would put it in the middle and work from the middle out, but throw in a bead, throw in the
on each side.
one, then thread one through, then put it in. But I'd work both sides because otherwise you're trying to do that pony bead through twice the length instead of just half the length.
And this one looks like they may have knotted the fabric.
Yes, that's the third option that I saw was that and you'd have to have fairly thin fabric for that.
The lawn would work good
Yeah,
for that. And then notice at the top, it's just a nice comfy band to sit on your neck. So I'll post pictures of that too with this roundup post of the dress.
So in
So you can
between
see that
the
too.
beads, you use thread and just tied.
You
So-
can use,
there's several different ways. One is to use the tube and you put a bead in and then you thread the pony tube through the necklace through the pony bead. So you've got one inside, one outside, one inside, one outside. The other
Ah,
thing I saw them doing was they'd put a bead in, and they had to use beads in this case because they would use thread to kind of tie it off and then slip the needle through the next, it looked like they were going through the next bead, tie it off, and etc. So that the thread that you were using to tie it off is always inside. That way it doesn't ever end up on the outside. I haven't done it, so I don't know how easy this would be. I think you'd have to use a fairly short needle or a curved needle to get it through. I'm not sure how I haven't done that one, but that's what they were proposing.
yeah, I think a curved needle would work really good. And if you use the transparent thread, you'd have strength and you wouldn't see it.
Yep, and then you could just tie it off because they wrapped it around and took a couple stitches through, put in the next bead, and they went through. It sounded like they went through that bead and then came out and did the thing again. But if you're using clear thread, you could just go around, put the next bead in and tie it off, and that thread could be on the outside and nobody would see it. That sounds a little easier.
I can see a pretty bag strap out of this. The actual shoulder would be nice and padded, but then there would be like 3 big chunky beads on the front and the back.
Yeah,
Wouldn't that be pretty?
that would
Yeah.
be really cool.
Mhm. I'll name the bag after you, Casey.
I didn't come up with the idea.
But you inspired it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, I think that would be gorgeous, and then it would match too. Fun. And there would be something fresh for the straps. Okay, so do you want to talk about anything else that we're working on? The sewing toe? What did you decide, Kim?
Well,
Did you
I've
make
cut
any
it out.
revisions?
I cut it out.
Ooh,
I haven't cut out the other little pockets
bigger
or
pocket,
anything. Yeah, I haven't cut those out yet. I just cut out the exterior. And that copy paper is like cutting out grocery bags. That stuff was so hard. It's like, oh
Oh,
my God. I said, I'm just used to cutting tissue paper, so this stuff was like horrible. I was like, oh my God.
oh.
I was like, oh, now I know why I don't like PDF. So, but I did change
Yeah,
it
and
though.
I don't like the tissue.
Yeah,
Let's see.
I'm like, oh. I did change it because I thought it didn't. This is the exterior
Mhm.
of it, but I changed the interior to this
Pretty.
Yes.
because I thought that this would look better with the ladies.
Yep.
Because I thought the other fabric was fighting the ladies.
Yeah. Yep.
It was
That's
just too
Oh.
busy.
Yep.
It was just too busy with the ladies.
Mhm.
But I'm still putting the ladies in there, but I think because right now with the dimensions on the pockets, it's almost cutting into some of the ladies, and that's what I don't want.
So a thought I just had was if you, the ladies are in little squares, right?
Right.
If you were to use like little pleats on either side of them, you could get a little more dimension to your pocket, but still maintain the ladies. So that might
Okay.
one way to think about it is like, okay, here's my ladies are my delimiter, and anything in between there can get folded or sewn under or whatever. But that you might want to put a little pleat in there.
Okay.
It'll get a little dimension to it, and you can put like a button loop, button
Right.
on the top to keep things in.
Do you
Yeah.
have the ladies there?
Yeah.
Let's see them again. They're so darn cute.
Oh, ladies.
Aren't they fun? Oh, they're adorable.
So I'm just trying to figure out which ones I want to use, and
Yep.
so
Precious. Maybe you can name them. Are they already named?
no, they don't have names.
That is so cute.
So I don't know, but I'm gonna figure it out.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Okay, so that's our so slow. No pressure there. And excuse me, if we finish our dress on Tuesday and then talk about what we would have changed or obstacles and things like that, then we could maybe start the next pattern on, what date will that be? Will we be out of August? Yikes.
No.
No, it'll be
No.
the 25th. That's the day after I drop my daughter at college.
Oh,
Sadness.
Joy.
Say joy. Do you have children?
I have 3, and I just look at everything as how exciting it is for their life, and then it's not sad.
Yeah. And if it wasn't Corona season, I would definitely be excited for her. Yeah.
It's just a different experience.
It
Some more
is.
things to learn.
It really is. I do feel like we've done a good job practicing up to this point, because it's not like I isolated her and protected her. She had to go run all the errands with me and do everything and learn how to live in this new world that we have. So, okay, well, are you going to sew a jacket with us, Suzette, or a cape, or a...
I'm still looking for something similar. So I'm afraid of a jacket because all the sleeves and the
gosh.
buttonholes. I've never done a buttonhole.
The jacket I'm gonna do doesn't have buttonholes. It's a button, but it has inseam buttonholes. So you don't use your machine to sew them. You do it with the placement of the openings between the layers of the facing and the extension.
Oh, okay.
It's it's not a beginner jacket. It's not an intermediate jacket.
It's advanced.
I wouldn't say it's advanced, but you wouldn't sew this unless you really had some comfort with a lot of techniques. And this one, I'm going to say I've made it 10 times. So
Oh,
it's
nice.
super easy. For me, it's going to be super easy.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Well, as far as a cape or a poncho, the ones that I've been looking at are the real thick, for winter. I don't need anything like that. Maybe some kind of like a wrap or, a lightweight something.
Mhm.
So one idea would be to do it, but in just like a polar fleece. So it's just the one layer of the polar fleece. Wouldn't have to be heavy.
Let me see if I can find something for you.
Well, and I actually have one that I purchased that's made out of a brushed polyester knit. So it's even lighter weight than the polar fleece.
Mhm.
And I wore that a lot until it started to get grimy, but it was more of a wrap. It didn't go over your head. I don't do well with the things that have to go over your head. I'm always knocking my glasses in the parking lot and stepping on them, and then like how to get your purse on your shoulder when you all wrapped up in this thing, and then try and put your seatbelt on. So
The seatbelt. I'm sorry, officer.
I'm not.
Coat.
It seems like a simple concept. You put it over your head and you go, but somehow it's way more complicated to wear than maybe if you made something, like to go to a cocktail party, something a little more dressy, like that kind of wrap.
Yeah, or just the lightweight cover-up thing. I don't know what you call them.
Are you thinking more of a shawl?
Yeah, kind of like that. I'm afraid of sleeve. To sew sleeves.
Too bad, because this is crazy cute.
Yeah, something like that.
But it has sleeves.
But
I know.
those
You
sleeves
have
are
to help me.
yeah, but those sleeves aren't real structured. I bet if you look at that pattern, do those sleeves pretty much come straight out? Because the more straight.
Yeah, can you see the variation in the yellow there?
Yeah,
They're sleeves.
but it's not going to be a real fitted sleeve. So that might
It's
be
nice and loose.
Yeah,
See
or
that?
try out a sleeve.
Yeah,
That
I like that.
pattern,
Yeah,
that
what
one is S8989, and it's simplicity. So you could look at that online. And Kim was telling me yesterday that all of the major patterns you can get in the PDF, so you could get printed too if you wanted it on the different paper, like I had, so you don't have to fight the folds and everything like that. Let me see if I have. Oh, I think this is cute too. I want to make this now instead. It's a little like sweater with the seam in the front and the back, and it has the
Yeah, cinching. It
ruching,
cinches
is
up
that
the
what you
side.
call it? On the sides.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
ruches
it's-
up the side. Mhm.
That kind of sleeve is super easy to fit because it's oversized and it's extended down onto your arm. Oftentimes on a knit, that's probably a t-shirt knit or intended for a knit, you put the sleeve on flat. You don't even have to make the sleeve and then set it in. That's the worst sleeve making process. Nobody likes it. And then you pretty much have to be sure it fits before you do all that work to it, which the only way for me to figure that out is to make a complete garment and then try it on. To tissue fit is too complicated because when you're broad or wide, one half isn't enough to know if the rest of the garment is going to fit. You need both halves to see, am I going to be able to move in this thing?
Yeah.
Right. Now this, I don't like the look that they chose for her, but if you can see that, it's an easy one. And it is just like the kind of shruggy fit. You could do it out of lightweight material. Maybe look at it online so you can see it better. It's 8740. It always amazes me how, I don't have another word besides ugly, the fabric is they choose to make these sample pieces out of. If they chose amazing fabric, wouldn't it be more appealing? Right?
I don't
Like
know.
that young girl wouldn't even wear that look.
Yeah.
I used to work in fabric stores when I was in high school and college, and we always used to wonder, how do they choose what they choose? And in those days, the store made samples of quite a few things. And they often picked weird things. It wasn't my decision what they
Yeah,
picked, but they often
right.
picked weird things to make it.
Huh. I don't know. Okay, well, I can't decide which one I want because I want a hood. Are hoods hard?
No.
Not for them.
Yeah, I might do the ugly blue one with the hood, but pick pretty fabric. How are you
Have you-
doing, Dana? Can you hear us, Dana? Or Dana, maybe? I might be saying that wrong. Oh, you might be muted. No, you're not muted, but we can't hear you.
I need to turn up the volume on her mic.
Maybe we can't hear you, but welcome. I can barely hear you. Do you have headphones plugged in by chance? No? Any other ideas?
Call Keith.
Oh no, yeah, we can't hear you. We can see your lips moving and we can see you. Bummer. Okay, so I think I'm gonna go with 8740, easy to sew with the hood, view A. Now I gotta see though if I can get it printed or ordered.
Now, is that the one that, is it in digital?
How would I tell from this book? Is there a way?
I only
Look
look
online.
online. You can see if they offer digital. They'll have the patterns usually side by
Right.
side. They have the regular one, then the digital one right next to it.
What are you gonna make, Kim? Have you picked one?
Yeah, I have a vintage cape pattern. It's super easy. Basically, you're just putting two sides together and you're cutting around it and putting a button on it. It's done. It has like a little collar.
Oh, how hard is a collar?
It's real easy. You just attach it and sew around that collar. It's done.
And it has a
It's a-
button.
It's a
So,
double-sided fleece that you use. I don't really need a cape. So I just made a coat. So it's like, I don't need a cape too. So
so if it has a button, then you don't
Here, I'll
have
show
to
it.
put it over your head then?
The button is to make it look like you have sleeves.
Oh,
Hold on just a second. Let me get the pattern.
Is it on the side?
Yeah, it's probably under the arms. Yeah.
She showed me yesterday a beautiful puffer jacket she just made. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, so it just makes the sleeve by having the button there.
oh, I
You
see.
see it under there? That would be clever.
See
Yeah,
it?
fun.
See the buttons on the sleeves.
Uh-huh. So does that go over your head or no?
No, it opens in the front.
Opens on that.
That might be an option for me.
And this is a Vogue pattern.
Is that 98, 91? Is that the one?
Yeah, it's an old pattern, but I'm knowing Vogue, they probably came out with another one.
Good morning, Tom. Address is 1250 1250.
All right, so I don't think we can still hear you, Dana, but I wanted to just catch you up in the loop. We're finishing sewing our dresses, And Suzette and I will be modeling the dresses that we've been working on next Tuesday. And then we're going to start a new project, which is just going to be outerwear, and it's similar but not the same. So everyone can choose their own pattern. So you're welcome to sew along with us as we work through that project. I imagine it's probably going to take about 3 weeks. Do you think for that as well? Are you going to make one, Casey, at all, or are you just going to tune in?
So I have to figure that out because first of all, I have to find the box that has the fabric that I'm thinking of using. And then I would have to find a place where I can lay it out because the one I'm thinking of is a long one, and there's no place here that's long enough that I can get to because they've closed the clubhouse and all that other stuff. So I do have a 6-foot folding table up in storage. So I may, if I find the fabric and find the pattern, I may go up to storage and see if I can lay it out there, cut it out. Hope nobody gets wise to the fact that I'm using the storage place as my sewing cutting room.
Oh, how fun is that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so there's a couple of steps I have. Then the thing is the coat that I'm thinking of making, I have no place to store it here.
Mm.
So, and it's warm weather, and I won't need it probably here until November at the earliest would be. So then I have to put it back in storage. So we'll see. I'll try. Because I would
Okay.
it'd be fun to do it, but it may take me 2 weeks to just get everything together.
Okay, well, we do have 2 weeks
Yeah.
in case, but we would still love to have you join us for your expertise and to watch just for fun. Yeah, to see how it comes together. All right, well, I'm so glad you could join us, Dina. And sometimes when you log in, it'll prompt you to enable certain things. So if you click yes as you're initially logging on, that may fix your problem with the sound.
Yeah,
Okay.
they offer an opportunity to test your sound in that same space. So
Yes, and then on Mondays and Fridays, I think at 10 a.m. Mountain, they have a tech help session at Element 3 Health. And so you can get on there for free with Kevin, and he will troubleshoot any issues that you have. And I'm going to have to write Elaine because we haven't seen her for 2 sessions now. And Cheryl too, so I'm missing them. We're going to have to see where they are. But otherwise, I'll see you all on Friday at 5 o'clock. Happy hour.
I'm probably not going to be there. I think we have an appointment. So I'll see you
Okay.
guys on Monday.
Okay.
Okay, awesome. Have a great week.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.